Ready?
Yes, do it.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand with me for our invocation and pledge.
If you'll bow your heads with me. Our dear Heavenly Father, bless everyone here tonight, people represented in our city. Teach us to be grateful, and during this season, remind us to be very thankful for all of our many, many blessings. All this we ask in thy holy and precious name.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1.
Here.
Jay Stepp, Ward 2. Here. Louis Todsmeyer, Ward 3.
Here.
Lindsay McDaniel, Ward 4. Here. Diane Tate, Ward 5.
Here.
Lori Pruitt, Ward 6.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here. We have got to approve our council meeting minutes from the November 7th meeting. Council's had these well in advance of tonight. Chair will entertain any additions, edits, corrections, or motions.
Mayor, I didn't see any additions or corrections. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved unanimously. Congratulations to Catherine. She got through that first. Let the record reflect that, huh? There you go. We have got a proclamation that we'll start this evening off with in honor of Native American Awareness Month. I'm going to let Mayor Pro Tem Tate handle those honors. If you would, please.
Thank you, Mayor. We're honored tonight to have, actually, I'll just go ahead and say my husband, J.B. Tate, who was the original appointee by the state of Georgia to the National Trail of Tears. So obviously the Tate family cares very much about this proclamation. And Mr. and Mrs. Bobby Bagley and their daughter Kelly are here tonight. Mr. Bagley, I'm going to read the proclamation, and then if you don't mind coming up, but just a moment, let me read it, and I'll meet you down there. Whereas the month of November is Native American Awareness Month, and whereas the Georgia tribe of Eastern Cherokee Indians wish to honor the memory of the 16,000 Cherokees who were removed against their will and forced to endure the horrors of the infamous Trail of Tears to the west in the winter of 1838 and 1839. And whereas it is estimated that 1/4 of the Cherokees died in the removal route. And whereas 1,500 Cherokees were removed from Cass, now Bartow County, in the spring of 1838 and incarcerated in forts and holding pens throughout the county. Whereas they were rounded up and sent on their trek to what is now known as the state of Oklahoma. Whereas this acknowledgement that America has been made richer with the experience of the Native American culture. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor Matt Santini and the Cartersville City Council that the month of November 2013 is designated as Native American Awareness Month in the city of Cartersville, Bartow County, and the state of Georgia.
Ski, Wado, Nikaba, in Cherokee, but in English, it's a thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Mayor. I enjoyed doing that.
We have a second reading of our amendment to the utility fees ordinance. Mr. Porta.
Yes, Mayor, this is an amendment
convenience fee is 25% to customers who pay utility bills and electricity bills, regular department fee we've had to endure for a number of years. Approximately pay about $10,000 monthly right now for processing those fees. And this is another opportunity for us to save taxpayers dollars and those individuals who are paying by credit card or not paying. You have other availability means than paying. We started electronic check processing last week, so customers can pay by e-check at no cost. There's also, they can also pay in person with cash or check at no cost, but there's also other means that we allow paying utility bills, particularly through their bank account as well. So I actually recommend approval of this one.
Okay, any discussion on this item? There is no, chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dan. We've got a couple of first readings. And Mr. Menino, if you'll get us started with T-1304.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This particular request is a proposed text amendment. Mr. Ray Womack has requested that we add the use of regular service automotive storage yard to the light industrial zoning district. Currently, in our ordinance, it's only allowed in the general commercial district. This was discussed as far back as 2010 when we reevaluated the zoning ordinance and amended it. Several of the automotive uses were moved from general commercial to allow in the light industrial. This particular use did not carry forward. I don't know specifically why it did not, but after reviewing the application, it seemed to be a very good location going into a light industrial with this type of use. There's a specific site that Mr. Womack is looking for to place one of these facilities. And overview, planning commission did review the request and does recommend approval of this application or proposal.
Okay, is there any questions for Randy at this point? Thank you, sir. At this point, we'll open up a public hearing relative to T-13-04. Anybody wishing to step forward and speak for or against may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and council will take this up. That's why I was kind of fidgeting up here, if you were wondering. Our next meeting is a morning meeting, and we don't take up planning and development issues during those morning meetings. So this will be taken up by council for final consider at our meeting on December the 19th. We'll move forward from that one and ask Randy to kick us off for file Z-13-07.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is a rezoning request from the RH12 zoning district to the R20. This particular piece of property is 23 acres. It was rezoned to the RH12 back in 2007 for a proposed senior development. Since that time, particular areas have been reevaluated, restudied. Floodplain area has changed a bit. The proposed developer that was looking to put something on this has moved on. It never happened. With that, the applicant is desiring to bring it back to the R20, which it was zoned from in 2007. The R20 is consistent with the adjacent properties. And with that, the property was properly advertised and posted. Here to be a conflict submitted, and it was reviewed based on the standard exercise of the planning commission and recommend approval of this application.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Any questions for Mr. Menino at this point?
Mayor, I have a question.
Sure.
Randy, did you say that the floodplain had been reevaluated?
Yeah, FEMA restudied the entire county along with the county doing some additional studies on floodplain, and the floodplain has increased in that particular area. Not necessarily the Etowah River, but the creek that runs beside it. It appears there is actually more floodplain out there now. Since it was 2007. I believe previously the maps were 1990 something that FEMA put out.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you, sir, and I'll open up a public hearing relative to case Z-13-07. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for Z 13-07. And again, council will take this up for consideration at the meeting on December the 19th. Tom, you've got the next item. We got a couple of first reading of ordinances. This one is an amendment to the budget ordinance for last year.
Honorable Mayor and Council, the fiscal year 2013 was finally closed out. As a result, we need some amendments to the budget for the general fund and special fund. By doing this will bring our general and special revenue fund back into compliance with general and executive accounting principles. These are necessary to make them at zero budget or revenue equal zero, or revenue equal expenses. And I recommend approval of this is the first reading of the ordinance.
Okay, questions for Tom on this item? Thank you. There's no discussion. Again, council will take this up, I believe, at our meeting on December the 6th. Since it is an ordinance, once again, we don't handle typically planning and development with public hearing items at our two morning meetings throughout the year. This will be taken up for consideration on the morning of December the 6th. Next first reading is relative to water and sewer capacity fees. Mr. Molinax.
You have before you an ordinance revision prepared by the city attorney's office for water and sewer capacity fees to their original amounts, and this would be effective December 31st, 2013.
Ed, how long have we not been collecting this? How many?
We have been collecting the reduced capacity fees, and I checked today. I think that was originally reduced January 1st, 2011.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
What kind of paperwork is associated with moving those from 50% to 100 and back and forth? It's pretty simply done.
This is drafted.
Just a simple ordinance.
Your signature would have to be approved.
Okay. I didn't know if there internally, if there was a. Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, and again, that's the first reading. We'll take that up on December the 6th. Ms. Courier, you'll come talk to us about this resolution.
Honorable Mayor and Council, as presented at a work session a few weeks ago, the first ever downtown master plan has been drafted. Created through a community-based process involving residents, downtown merchants and property owners, media, board, and elected officials, as well as past planning efforts. The plan was expertly drafted by City Planner Richard Osborne. His experience with master plans is impeccable through this entire process, and he has put together what EDA board and staff feel is a great overview of some of the concepts and bricks and mortar projects that should be considered in the next 10 years and beyond. Cartersville EDA will oversee implementation of the downtown master plan, offering city council updates on an ongoing basis, and there's recommended work approval of the downtown master plan.
I do have a question relative to this. Did you put the word expertly in, or did Richard want you to put the word expertly?
Richard did a wonderful job in assisting in this entire process.
I know it's a culmination of a lot of work by your board and by you and by Richard and other folks on staff that I'll probably forget to mention, but no shortage of time and effort in that, so we appreciate that. Any questions for Ms. Courier relative to the downtown master plan? If there are none, if there's no other discussion, Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have election results to be certified. Ms. Keeling.
Yes, Mayor, this is the certified election results from the November 5th general election. I have presented them to you in advance. If there's any questions, I'll take it answer. Otherwise, I recommend approval.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is a grant application for land and water conservation fund. This is a grant that we've used several times in the last few years. The last one being the field lighting at Bellinger Park, Field Number 1. DNR has increased the grant capacity this year. You can now do a $200,000 project, 50/50 matching grant. What we would like to do is replace our field fencing for the first 3 original fields. That's field 1, field 2, and cricket field. Total grant amount is $188,337. The city's match being $94,168. And this would, if approved for this grant, that would come out of our maintenance budget for the 2014-2015. I recommend approval.
Can you repeat that? Connie's phone was going off. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I do recommend approval.
No, I
Well,
know.
I messed my recommendation up, so I need to repeat it. I recommend approval of the resolution of the grant application and authorize mayor to sign any and other all-related documents pertaining to this grant.
Mayor, I got a question.
Go right ahead.
Greg, the grants due when?
November the 22nd.
Okay, so, and it's double the amount of money we usually get,
That's
usually are eligible
Is
for.
our match doubled too?
Match it
okay.
up. But you will be working on the match at the next budget.
That's correct.
Okay, so if you get the grant and then don't have the match money available, then,
We wouldn't be able to do the project.
okay, but you can, I mean, there's not money involved in doing the grant and so
No,
forth.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
Well, I mean, I'm wishing you and us the best, but,
It's out of his maintenance budget, it only makes sense to apply for the grant. How
Yeah.
can you be doing this kind of things?
Well,
you gotta do it anyway.
Sure.
Right, this grant now, the land and water grant, is strictly for maintenance projects, and which fits right into our budget.
It's an absolute
It just
Yep.
covers our money.
Good.
If we receive it.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking penalty. Was there any penalty if something happened and you had the grant and didn't have the matching? But I don't think there
Well,
is.
No, but I mean, there has been times in the past where we've had to turn the grant back in because we weren't able to have the matching money.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Greg.
Cricket.
Rebecca, the next item, 2014 calendar.
Mayor, council, this is for the printing of the 2014 calendar. I recommend we award the project to New Dimensions, who came in at $7,322 printing, and an estimated postage of $1,622.82 for a total of $8,940.66.
Any discussion on this item? And if not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion somewhere, but I've actually got two motions.
I'll take a second.
You second that motion. Thank you, Councilman Tonsmeyer. We got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Reinhardt, you have the financial statement, please, for September.
Honorable Mayor and Council, looking at the September 2013 financial report and comparing it to September 2012. The general fund revenues increased from last year by $202,000. This is due to the GDOT reimbursement for some road work that had done. Expenses have increased by $240,000. This is due to increased personal expenses and operating expenses. 3 years of revenue I look at on a monthly basis, and I local sales tax, we had a decrease in there, in this area of $164,000. Police lines and forfeitures have decreased to $47,000. And last is the building permits and inspection fees, got an increase of about $4,000. The water and sewer fund, revenue decreased over last year by $173,000. Expenses decreased by $576,000. This decrease is due mainly to decreased debt service expense and decreased capital expenses. The gas fund, the revenues have increased from last year by $231,000. Expenses have also increased by $708,000. This is due mainly to increased purchase of gas. The electric fund, revenues have increased from last year by $72,000. Expenses increased by $25,000. This $25,000 increase is due to increased cost of electricity purchase. And the stormwater fund revenues increased over last year by $46,000. This is due to the pre-mitigation grant revenues. And expenses increased by $21,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, and increased capital expenses. And the solid waste fund revenues increased from last year by $12,000, and expenses increased by $80,000. This increase is due to increased personnel expenses and increased operating expenses. And finally, the fiber optic fund revenues increased from last year by $36,000, and expenses have increased by $21,000, due mainly to increased personnel expenses, operating expenses, and capital expenses. That's my report.
Okay, any questions for Tom on the finance report? Thank you, sir. And the last item on our agenda tonight is a citizen survey results, and Sam will handle that.
This piece is community inclusiveness and civic engagement. You get ready to go. We do these every 2 years. We started in '03, continuing through last March. These were done by the Citizen Research Center folks out of Boulder, Colorado. The first piece, top piece is sense of community, followed by openness and acceptance, community toward people with diverse backgrounds, affordability of child care, place to raise children, and place to retire. There's not a whole lot of variance in those over the years. Different colored bars are the years. Usually the most telling thing in the survey then is the comparison to the norms, which are on the next page. We compare the norms in the nation and also in the South. The one that kind of jumps off the page is the affordability of child care that's much above in the nation, compared to the national norms, and much above in the South. The rest of them are either similar to the norm or above the norm, both in the region and nationally. The next set of graphs is quality of services. These are rated on a 100-point scale. Top is service to seniors, next is service to youth, bottom is service to low-income people. These have only been measured since '07, but you can see that the respective groups are bunched together in each area. Again, the norms find them all to be similar to their respective norms, except service to seniors is above the norm in the southern region. Next piece, participation in civic engagement. This talks about attending local meetings, watching meetings on cable, volunteering time, participating in a civic club, and also helping your neighbors. Of course, you can see the one that kind of goes off the page. People like to help their neighbors. You can see, too, in here a trend line in the second one, which I think is reflective. You go back to '03, we were probably just at the point where we may have been coming off of prestigious broadcasts of our council meetings, or they were still carried on TV, unlike they are presently. So you can see that trending down as people watch it less. Again, the comparisons to norms on this page, you've got some that are lower than the norms. Attended a meeting of local elected officials. It's below both the national and southern norms. Watched a meeting, again, because it's not really available other than streaming. It's less and much less respectively for national and southern norms. The rest are similar to the norms except for volunteer time to group or activity in Cartersville, and that is higher than the norm in the southern region. The last piece is civic activity ratings. Opportunities to participate in community matters and opportunities to volunteer. Again, those have only been measured since '09, so there are only 3 sets of bars. When compared to the norm, they are all similar to the norm, except opportunities to volunteer is higher than the national norms. And again, the mayor's commercial, you can find these in the PDF format on cityofcartersville.org if you'd like to review the reports in detail. We'll be back with those.
I think I'm kind of like you. That one graphic that showed the amount, in the 90s, the upper 90% of people helping people, that's kind of encouraging. Feels good. Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening? I've got a few items. The New Frontiers putting on their Feed the Hungry this Saturday. It's going to be at the Civic Center, and they're asking for not just obviously reaching out to those in need, but they're also doing a coat drive, but they're also saying, asking that people in the community come out to volunteer and just be a part of it and come out and enjoy a Thanksgiving-style lunch there as well. Just kind of trying to get the community to come together, and I applaud them for their continued efforts in that area in our community and their leadership. Obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Our next meeting will be a morning meeting. It will be on the morning of Thursday, December the 5th. That is so it does not interfere with the Christmas parade, the Exchange Club's Christmas parade that will be held that evening. And go Canes. They'll be playing at home again tomorrow night against St. Pius. That'll be at 7:30. And we would hope that the community, whether they wear purple, whether they wear any of the other county school colors, that they'd come out and support the local team as they play in the second round of the playoffs. Anything else?
Miss Georgia pageant.
Why don't you talk about that?
I don't know that.
I'd like to welcome the Miss Georgia pageant, Miss Georgia USA and Miss Teen Georgia, that are both being held at the Clarence Brown Conference Center and a number of other places throughout the community this weekend as well. About 120 participants, is that accurate? I don't know. Just like you're just make it up. We don't know anything about it. Obviously, I don't know enough about it as far as the particulars either, but I appreciate you pointing that out, because that is, they bring people in from all over the state. They get to see our community. They fill up our hotel rooms. They eat in our restaurants, and they do a little bit of shopping. So
I know about it. I don't see my wife from the time it starts until the time we
are you complaining, or are you trying to think what you're...
all I know about it.
Okay. Thank you. Any other nonsense that needs to come before council this evening? Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Get a hump on that guy.